Thank you. So if I could just ask you a couple questions up front, are you guys currently utilizing any type of GPS smartphone supervision app?
I use a app from Dale Books,
Mailbox?
and it does give me live locations, but basically we're stripping the geotag information off of the selfie that the defendant takes and submits, so we know where they are when they check in, if their phone supports it. And many of them have phones that don't support this kind of technology. I mean, they're Walmart phones.
Okay. Yeah, so what's great about VCheck 24 is that we offer continuous tracking, not just when they check in, but also with our app, with our product, the monitor client will have to have a smartphone. It's just kind of a limitation of the technology. But that being said, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. One moment. Alrighty. So please do not hesitate to stop me if you have any questions. Just wanted to show you a couple slides. These 4 words really sum up how we feel about the VCheck 24 team and product. Going back to 2018, we started having a lot of conversations with government agencies, as well as bail bond agencies like yourself, and just got a lot of information on the current products on the market, where they're just, agents found them to be really complicated to learn how to use, and how they're lacking features that agents really wanted to see. So getting a lot of feedback, we, after that, decided to then go ahead and build VCheck 24 from the ground up to, simply put, be the best, most user feature-rich GPS smartphone app. And what currently sets us apart from the rest of the industry is our combination of 3 key features that agents really love and value, which are our real-time continuous GPS tracking, not just when they check in, but you can see where they're at any time. We have HD video check-ins rather than just a photo of the monitored client. And we have zone triggered check-ins with instant agent alerts. Go ahead, and this is the agent user interface. This is the client's page. It shows all of the monitored clients in the system, the primary agent monitoring them, email if you'd like to add that, the client's mobile number, how many VChecks they've completed. We call the check-ins VChecks, and how long they have been active in the system. At any time, it's really easy to deactivate a client. So we've got a filter here if you want to view all of them or just the inactive ones. You can also filter by the clients directly under any given agent. And if you happen to have a big list enrolled in our program, you can search by the client name. I'm going to go ahead and dive into my alias here, Frank Rizzo. So this is the client profile page. This is the photo of the offender. We've got their name, their monitoring start date, monitoring end date if there is one, the supervision type, and the primary agent monitoring them. At any point, you can leave case notes. And I'm going to go ahead and dive into the geofences and real-time tracking. Zooming in, I'm going to expand this. Here we have our Google Maps. The green circles, these are inclusion zones, so typically used for home curfew. You as an agent can determine when you want this zone to be active. And so if the client were to leave this zone when it was active, you as the agent have the option to be notified by SMS and or email. This little check mark icon right there that indicates they submitted a VCheck at that time. These red zones, these are called, we call them zones of interest. They can be used as no-go locations, such as an airport or a victim's residence, anything along those lines. And just zooming out real far, You can create these around state borders. Zooming back in, you can use, you can custom draw any of these zones, polygons. And they're also, these zones are great for must-go locations such as a courthouse. Got one mapped out there, or a treatment center, anything along those lines. And with the zones of interest, you as the agent can be alerted again by email and or SMS when they enter the zone, and also when they exit. So let's say someone showed up at a courthouse and just left 5 minutes later, you would get 2 notifications knowing that they did so. They all are also required to submit a check-in when they arrive at these locations. Going to the GPS tracking, zoom in real far here. All of these blue dots, these indicate GPS trace points. You can hover over them to see the timestamp. I've just been at home for a while working, so I'm going to show you a time where I know I was on the move. And you can filter by any date and time right here. Let's see, 20. Clicking on the search bar populates that information. Go back into the map. And so this shows my route during that day. Again, you can hover over these points to show the timestamp. They're taken on average every 3 minutes. Sometimes they're taken more than once in the same minute, sometimes more around 5 minutes or so. This 16, that just indicates 16 GPS points taken in that location. And what you can really do with having all of this historical tracking data is you can get an idea of the trends on where they go. For instance, quite a few GPS points there. Okay, sure, that's their home. Let's say there are like 100 points right here. Okay, sure, that might be their work address. But let's say you see them repeatedly going back to some location that's you don't have it on file. It's not the courthouse address, but you see they're going there maybe once every day or every other day. You could go easily zoom in and see exactly where that neighborhood, and then you could use Google Street View. You just drag this guy over, and it gives you a 360-degree view of that neighborhood. Is it potentially a drug dealer's location, anything like that? These rows, this is all the historical data, the time and their nearest address. Yeah. And again, all of this is recorded, so you can go back to, you know, the day they were enrolled and see exactly where they were at that time, or, you know, where they are in that moment, in the present. You can download this information or print it out as a PDF or CSV. We have 3 different reports. This report shows all the completed V-checks, zone and exiting and entering events, as well as location. Taking a step back here, I'm going to go ahead and show you the V-checks. So this shows when they're scheduled. What happens is when they have to submit a V-check, they're sent a push notification. They tap on that, they open up the app, and they see themselves being recorded for 13 seconds, and they're given 3 prompts to state their name, location, and 2-word phrase. And I'll go ahead and show you what that looks like. Clicking on these rows, out pops the preview. Frank Rizzo. Home. Wait, child. So these videos, they're just so much more valuable to agents than just a photo. You can see their demeanor. Do they seem intoxicated or high, anything like that? And you can also kind of get an idea of their lifestyle, their background environment. Are they at a bar? Are they at, let's say, are they at work like they're supposed to be? Anything along those lines. And you can view this blown up. You can view it as a picture-in-picture. And you can also download the video, and we made sure the file size is small enough where you could email this video internally or to judge, anything like that. The 2-word random phrase that makes every VCheck unique so that the offenders can't dupe our system by doing something along the lines of pre-recording a video and then having their friend hold up the 2 phones together. So there's no way that they'd be able to be caught if they did that because of the 2-word phrase. This is where the agent can approve or reject the VCheck. Make notes. Let's hit save. The review status shows up as approved or rejected there. One other thing to note about them, once they get that prompt to submit a VCheck, they are given 15 minutes to submit it on time. If they miss that window, they're given another 45 minutes for it to be considered late. And if they miss that full hour, then it shows up as missed. And you can filter by any of these. So you just wanted to view when they missed a VCheck, you can do that. This report here, this includes all completed VChecks, late VChecks, and missed VChecks, and their timestamp. One last report that you can use if you'd like. This one includes any missed VChecks, zone entering and exiting events, and their location. You can send them what we call an on-demand VCheck. So the second they click this, they get that push notification and have to submit a VCheck. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you the easy step-by-step process for adding a new client into the system. Enter their name, date of birth, mobile number. Email address is optional. Monitoring start date, monitoring end date if they have one, their time zone, the primary agent monitoring them. You can add a case number. Supervision type, we'll pick bond. And you can also add up to 3 backup agents to monitor this new client if you'd like. One of the most commonly asked questions I get is what happens if the client turns off their phone or runs the battery and they don't recharge it, if they delete the VCheck 24 app or disable the location on their phone. This is another alert you as the agent can receive if you'd like. What our system does is it detects when it's stopped receiving location data on their phone. So once that's occurred for 30 minutes straight, you can be alerted again by email or SMS. And there are just a lot of options here. If you want to be alerted 6 hours after they deleted the app, or you can go all the way up to 8 days. Here's where you create the geo zones. I'm going to show you an example of home curfew. So you name the zone, whatever you'd like. Entering in John's address. I'm going to expand the map, and you can create circles or polygons. I'm going to use a circle for his home address, and you can select the size of the circle. Picking inclusion zone. And here you have the option for the zone to be active 24/7 or only at specific times. So if you want specific times, you toggle that on. And for this example, since it's home curfew, I'm just going to have this zone be active from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. You can have the zone last just one time or be set every day, or custom. You can pick specific days of the week if you like. You can have the zone last forever or end on a specific date, perhaps their monitoring end date, or number of occurrences. Right here, trigger VCheck. This you have the option when they exit that zone. Well, again, while it's active, they will receive that push notification submitted VCheck, or you can toggle that off if you like. Just a quick example of a zone of interest. Let's say we want to make sure they made it to court. Courthouse address. And I'm going to create a polygon zone around the courthouse. Voila. Select zone of interest. And so their information shows up there. We also have global zones of interest. So this is a library of commonly used zones of interest, such as it could be the state of Florida or the local courthouse. You just create them once, and then you can easily and quickly apply them, multiple ones of them, to this new client. And here we have our flexible VCheck scheduling. You can have them do random VChecks if you'd like. So between 1 to 5 times per day, you could say set this time frame to anything you'd like. And in this example, once per day, they'll get one random VCheck. So it might show up on their phone at 8:05 a.m., maybe noon, maybe 7:55 p.m. And you can schedule VChecks. So let's say we want to make sure John Doe is at work. We're going to have him submit a VCheck while he's at work. Set this for 2 p.m. You can have the scheduled VCheck last just once, or every day at 2, or if they just work Monday through Friday, you can select those days. You can have the scheduled VCheck last forever, or end on a specific date, or after a certain number of check-ins. And this last tab, Verify tab, this is just a summary of all the profile information you just entered, the zones you just created, the scheduled VChecks that you just created, and you'll see their mobile number show up there. And what happens, the enrollment process, what happens is once they click Verify and Close here, they are immediately sent an SMS. It includes a link. They tap on that and it takes them directly to Google Play or the Apple Store to download our app. They download it, then they're sent a second SMS with a 6-digit verification code. And that way they can only tie our app to this one mobile phone. As you know, drug dealers have a lot of phones, but they'd only be able to tie our app to this one phone. They go through the app permissions, and then at that time they do their first VCheck. And going back to my client. Looks like he's on the next page now. That is where this enrollment photo is automatically taken during their first VCheck. This gear icon here, this is where you can go back and edit any of their information. You could go and delete zones, revise zones, add new zones, and same thing with the scheduled VChecks. Also on this gear icon, this is where you can deactivate your client. And also if they lose their phone or anything, you can send a new installation link. Over here, this zones page, these are the global zones of interest. And add one just like a typical zone of interest right there. Agents, this is just a list of all the agents you've created in the system, and shows how many, shows their information, how many clients they're monitoring. And just to show you one thing about adding a new one, you can select them to be a user, which means they just view and monitor the clients directly under them, or admin. That agent can view all agents and all clients in the system. And once this is filled out and you click save, this new agent is immediately sent an email with a link. They click on it, create their password, and they're in the system. 2 more things. This is the dashboard. This is a running log of all of the most recently submitted VChecks across all from all the clients. So typically you'd have different client names here. It shows the type of VCheck when they submitted it and the location at the time. And here is a place where you can also view the VChecks. If you approve them on the dashboard, they're removed from the dashboard, but you can still view those videos in the client profile page. If you reject it, it will stay on the dashboard. That way it's quick and easy to go back and re-review the video if you'd like. Little profile icon here, this is the agent's information. And here are all of your notification setting options. So again, by email or SMS, you can know when they missed a VCheck, when they completed one, if they triggered a GeoZone, application errors, you'll be notified if they disable a permission on the app. and then the no GPS alerts. And so that is the system, that's the product. I want to go over a little real world story of our product in action. I'm going to switch over to this PDF. This has some images taken from our system. So while our product is great as a standalone for low and mid-risk offenders, we're just a much more cost-effective solution than an ankle bracelet. Ankle bracelets are cumbersome, stigmatizing, like I said, expensive. So we are a great alternative for the monitoring of low to mid-risk clients. But we wouldn't necessarily recommend our product for high risk offenders, except as in tandem with the bracelet. So we have Jesse Nunez. He's down in San Diego. He's a recovery agent customer. And what he did is he had this high risk offender and put him on an ankle bracelet as well as our app. And what this guy decided to do is chop off the ankle bracelet. There goes like $1,000. But he forgot the app was still tracking him. And what Jesse had done is create these zones of interest along this highway going to the US-Mexico border. And right here shows the offender entering this zone. So at this moment, Jesse was notified. He went into our system and watched where the guy was in real time. This is him at the US-Mexico border. And what the offender decided to do was smuggle in two people back into the US. At that point, Jesse contacted the authorities and they used our system to track the guy down at this residence and make an arrest. So yeah, just kind of cool real world story that we even made the San Diego News, and I'd be happy to share that link if you're interested after this. Yeah, I can go ahead and dive into price, or if you have any questions at this time.
I don't know that I really have questions. The whole time you're talking, I'm just thinking this is going to be a lot of extra work for us to do, for one.
Yep, I understand. And hey, sorry.
I'll let you address the objection.
Yeah, we would basically be here for you every step of the way if you decided to utilize our solution. So we have customers that we actually enroll, they're real clients. We help them with creating zones if they need it or scheduling V-checks. And so they just really appreciate us doing that work. While we make this like as easy, as user-friendly as possible, it's, it's still a lot there. It's a dynamic product. So we'd be happy to do any type of training as much as you'd like. Again, happy to enroll real clients. Yeah, kind of just be there every step of the way for you.
I will tell you this. The app that I'm using now is not tracking people real time. It's basically, like I told you, it's stripping the geotag information off of the selfie that they send. Mm-hmm. And I probably have 30% that actually comply with the app and use it. And I can't really violate their bond for not using the app. And in fact, it's our goal to never violate a bond, because if we're just the bondsman that bonds you out of jail and looks for a reason to violate your bond and put you back in jail, guess what? They're not going to call me. Yeah. They're going to stop calling me. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. Is that it? Oh, okay. It's a delicate balance that we're trying to, walk this fence with these defendants, whereas we're trying to be, on one hand, we're trying to be on their side. On the other hand, we're trying to keep them in compliance. And the only thing we're really truly concerned about is, are you going to court or not?
Yeah.
I don't care if you're at the bar. I don't care if you're high. I don't care if you're drunk. In fact, I hope you are. I hope you're drunk. I hope you're high AF, because if you are, you're a whole lot easier for me to catch because you're going to make mistakes. And so, whereas I could see this would be a great tool for a probation officer who's looking for a reason to, violate them and put them back in jail. As me as a bondsman, I'm, the people that don't want to be tracked, they're not going to be tracked. And
I'm curious.
what I'm using mine for is to see who are my people that are, if you've got somebody that's checking in and doing right, that's somebody you don't really have to worry about. So on that hand, all I'm doing is eliminating 30% of who I have to monitor. So now I got to worry about the 70%. The other thing I tell them is, if you're using that app and you're checking in like you're supposed to on a daily basis, and it only takes 5 seconds for them to take a selfie and push send. And I'll tell you that the app is also in Colorado. Gary Casso with bailbooks.com is the app I'm using. And honestly, the customers don't even like that. And, I've been trying to get the other bail bondsmen around here to try to use an app. So it'd be a whole lot easier to use any app if all the other bondsmen were using it too. But if you've got most of the bondsmen aren't even making their defendants check in, that's, they're going to go to the other bondsman that's easier for them to get over on, So I'm not saying no, but I can see that, it would be a little bit more work for me. And I can see that I'm having a hard enough time getting some of these defendants to comply with just taking a selfie and taking 5 seconds out of their day to take a selfie and push send. I can just imagine, it's, in fact, they're, this one kid just this morning installed the app, deliberately left his GPS location off. So, when he took his selfies, and he's off the African coast. And, I told him, look, you can leave your GPS off if you want to, but what's the point in checking in? Don't even check in, but when you get a problem with your bond, I'm going to go back and look and see if you're checking in and doing what you're supposed to do. And if you are, I'll help you. If you're not checking in and doing what you're supposed to do, I'm just going to let the consequences fall on you. I'm not going to be the guy trying to make your bond go bad, but if your bond goes bad, I'm not going to help you. So that's kind of how I put it to them. I mean, it's a tough thing just to get these people to comply with taking a selfie. So I can just imagine if they know their phone's tracked, they're going to really not want to do that.
Yeah, I'm curious. Since you pretty much make the rules, lay down the law, how do you typically react to like the 70% that won't even use the app? Like,
I'll let the chips fall where they fall. If they go to court, and I don't have a forfeiture, then I'm not going to worry about them. But if they miss court and they do have a forfeiture, well, they were going to uninstall the app anyway. They were going to, but when they get caught again and they call me and want me to get them out of jail again, it ain't happening, because guess what? You didn't check in on your app like I asked you to do. All I needed you to do was take a selfie 3 times a week, and you couldn't do that. So I'm not messing with you. Go to another bondsman.
Yeah, makes sense. Kind of one thing, a little food for thought that one of our bail bond customers does is
Because every time
if,
the phone rings, you get muted.
oh no, okay, sorry, can you hear me?
Okay, so now Greg is?
Okay, yeah, so one of our bail bond customers,
Come on in.
okay, sorry,
Tell him,
whenever you're ready.
this is another bondsman and he just came over. I'm just gonna let him come over and look over my shoulder.
Yeah, so what one of our bail bond customers does is, when he first has them out, like on the phone, while they're, still in the holding cell, he'll explain to them that he's going to enroll them on our app, enroll them in the program. And if they say no thanks and they just want to call another bail bondsman, that does happen occasionally. But what he does is he'll explain to them that having our app on their phone, if they're compliant, can be a benefit. They can use that historical data, those reports, to show the judge where they were. We also have self-initiated V checks. So they can open up the app on their own and tap this one button and start a V check video. And that can be really handy for them as like hard evidence in court. So let's say a crazy ex-boyfriend shows up at their house. If they record them, that video alone is great evidence, but it's also tied to an exact time and location in our system. So hard proof in court. But as for the people you already have out, yeah, it's such a case by case basis.
If it wasn't going to cost me a whole lot of money, I might look into, here's one of the things that happens. Somebody will come up with a new product. This is a great thing. Get this, pay me this amount of money for my product. I mean, I realize you put the time and effort into creating it, and they'll be like, pay this, and then I get it, and it's not worthwhile to me, but then I've already paid for it,
Yeah. So
Are we talking about something that's paid per customer? Or are we talking about something that's a flat fee across the board?
It's a flat fee. It is $1 per day per active client. So that averages out to about $30 per month. There's no upfront fee. There's no monthly subscription fee.
Yeah.
$1 per day per active client. So let's say you have one client you only had on the app from May 1st to May 20th. We'd only charge you $20. You can quickly and easily deactivate them. You'd be able to email me, give me their name, and I could go in and deactivate them for you. Like, we really would be here every step of the way. But yeah,
well,
$1 per day.
Here's the problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
I get a guy out on a $1,000 bond. The premium I collect is $100. So now he's on bond for 6 months. And now I'm paying $30 a month. I'm paying not 90. Well, how much? $180. So now I'm paying more than I'm making, because I'm not even making $100. He gives me $100. I'm sending some of it to the insurance company. So I'm paying to have this guy, and plus I got to do all the work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what our bail bond customers do is one of them, he charges the clients $100 a month to be on our app. So each client using our app, he can monitor them as closely or not closely as he wants.
If I could do that,
mm-hmm.
I would do that, but Florida law will not allow me to do that.
I was just going to ask you. Yeah, that's what I figured. Yep. Okay. Well, yeah. So it'd be.
I really think that this is more of a program, and this would be more of a program for the community control officers, because in Escambia County, this county that I'm in, they're charging the clients $6 a day. No, $12 a day. It's it's about $100 a week. They're charging them $12 a day. And I already know what they're getting their GPS ankle monitors for. They're getting them for $6 a day. Mm-hmm. Because I used to do GPS. But that was as a separate company. I was a monitoring company. So they're charging these clients $12 a day. they're making a profit, which to me is fascism. You know, the government should not be making a profit off of monitoring. They should recoup their cost, but it shouldn't be a profit making deal.
Yeah, they're public. Yeah, I agree.
Right. And so, but this to me seems like a really good idea for them. And I do know the person in charge of the GPS monitoring here in this county. And Greg over here, if you can see him, is real close with the sheriff in Escambia County, Alabama. Escambia County, Florida, and Escambia County, Alabama connect.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Well, look who came back.
Well, yeah, I mean, if this
Now,
doesn't seem
see,
like a good
somebody
fit
else
for
has
you
popped
guys,
on.
especially because of no offender
Alexa
pay,
popped on.
oh. Well, I gotta say, we would super appreciate any kind of introduction to sheriff or probation officer.
I'm happy to do that. And
Yeah.
I'll talk to Justin Morrell. Justin Morrell. He's the he's who runs the GPS in Escambia County. And so
Is that like a monitoring company there?
it's the actual county. The county does it.
But I mean, this guy is not.
Yeah. He's got this program which makes your cell phone your tracker. But you know, for bondsmen, it just
Yeah, but you know,
I can't charge them. If I could charge them, I'd give it a shot. But
yeah, set up a separate monitoring company going to Alabama.
I know for sure in Texas
Okay.
you can, but I guess it varies state to state.
Yeah,
yeah, every state law is
California.
different. So
Yeah.
Greg's mentioning, and actually me and Greg had talked about doing a monitoring company in Alabama. And so maybe what we'll do is take this idea and go sit down and have lunch with the sheriff over there and see
I
if
love
the
that.
and see if the see what the sheriff thinks about it.
That'd be amazing.
And
They're
Yeah.
using one company right now and they're not very happy with it.
Okay. Do you mind me asking do you know which company?
It's called Community Corrections in Bruton, Alabama.
Hmm.
And, you know, they're overwhelmed. They never have monitors when you need them. You know, people have to sit in jail for 2 or 3 days waiting on a monitor.
Yeah. Jeez.
and then here all somebody'd have to do is buy a phone.
Yeah.
But the other thing is what. So something I heard about, but I've never seen it, is that my friend Sam Jaconeth, who was with FCS, but now he started it. Now he's the chief operating officer for a brand new insurance company coming online in Florida now. He'll be up here in about a week or so. But he was speaking of a company that has sort of a thing. It's a Fitbit, and it connects to the phone, so it knows if they're alive. And instead of having an ankle monitor, that big huge ankle monitor, they've just got a little Fitbit, and it doesn't look like they're on house arrest, and so people are more prone to use it. So if you had something that was like that, a Fitbit that connected to the phone, that way if the phone gets too far away from the body,
Yeah, that's something we've considered doing. Kind of just depends on the market, what interest we get, and what fee. So as of now, we're only going to do the app. We're piling every resource into it as possible. We don't plan on getting into bracelets or like a Bluetooth wristband like you're talking about, but we'll always consider it. Like if an opportunity is big enough, we'll dive into it. But yeah, I totally see what you're saying with.
I don't know. I mean,
Knowing that
if you just used a generic type Fitbit, and then the app would the Fitbit ain't got to do the work. The app does the work.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we
See,
would
this is,
definitely,
this is stuff I've thought about stuff like this for years. Back in the early 90s, I went to a guy and I said, "Hey man, is there any way that we can like take when GPS first came out, I said, let's get a GPS and get it and connect it somehow with a cell phone. And if I call the cell phone, it'll pull the GPS and see where it is." The guy goes, "You can't do that." I'm like, "Come on, we can try." And then sure enough, a couple of years later, here you got,
Yeah. And in
all you
2021, like
if you
phones
got
are,
your
even smartphones are so much less expensive. People use them for everything. They keep them in their pocket.
most kids have them for sure.
and yeah,
So it's kind of right there for us at
I'm
VCheck
zooming
24.
on
It's kind of like a good time for us to come
yeah,
out.
I'm zooming you on a cell phone. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's like Dick Tracy days, man.
I-
Well, we would love for you guys to, even recommend us or to sit down and do that. I mean, we're always open to more customers or potential customers. So that would be very great if you guys did that for us.
know more about it. I just walked in on this.
Yeah, well, I'll fill you in.
We have this recording, we have this recorded as well. So you guys, or you can look at it, or we can email it to you and you can show it
Yeah,
to.
email it to me. I'll show it to Greg.
Will do.
And if they want a demo, let us know. We'll do another one for them.
Yeah.
Sure. Anyone?
Well, here's another thought. A guy real close to you in Colorado, his name's Gary Casso. And he does bailbooks.com. He's been at that for a while. And we're paying him about $50 a month.
Yeah.
50, 60, 70, I don't know. What is it? Mine's 60 something now, close to 70. What are you paying? What? Greg's
So-
paying less than me.
Nowhere near the amount of you on YouTube.
So it sounds like they might be more like a direct competitor of ours, and
I don't think so.
we're only $30 a month. But
No, here's why I'm gonna tell you they're not your competitor, because I think you can integrate with them.
okay,
I think you can collaborate with them because his product is not, his product from the beginning was not monitoring defendants. That's not his goal.
okay,
Keeps up with everything.
What he's doing is I guarantee you, he found another company like yours and integrated it with his software.
Mhm.
So the way it's operating now is I put the defendant in there, and this helps me keep track of the defendant. It does my reports for him. It's basically a database that I enter all of the information about the bond and the defendant,
Mhm.
and then I keep track of the court dates. When a court date's coming up, it'll email alert the defendant, your court date's coming up tomorrow. It'll send them a text alert.
Mhm.
It'll be on their app. So I don't necessarily feel like he's your direct competitor because it's a different animal. But I think that what you have, if it were integrated with what he has, and I'll speak to him about it,
Please.
We could track our customers.
that would be beautiful. I mean,
Yeah, open doors over here to have a collaboration
Because-
like that.
yeah, because all of the information is already in there and you don't have to go in and enter it. Because if I had you on, I would be not only paying for this, because I'm not allowed to charge them. But Alabama law may be different, so we'll see about Alabama.
Mhm.
But and who knows? I mean, if it's a big enough bond, maybe I can, afford it. But is there anything other than $1 per day?
I could see if I could go any lower than that.
No, I'm not
But-
saying a lower. No, the price is fine.
Yeah.
Is there
it's
any
like-
other fee on top of the $1 per day? Is there like a service fee just because you're enrolled, or are we just paying $1 a day per defendant?
Just the dollar per day. So let's say you got like didn't have anyone active for a month, we're not charging you a dime.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there won't be no days like this.
Well, then maybe we can look at setting it up and experimenting with it with
Bigger bond.
one or two higher bonds, and then that way we can, with our own experience, go to the sheriff over there in Bruton, Alabama, and say, hey, look at this thing. And since, you know, that's a really small, it's a small county, the sheriff, the judges, I mean, it is a small town. Look it up on a map, Bruton, Alabama. I mean, there ain't much going on there.
Bruton, Atmore, Forts, and all those areas.
Right.
Actually, I'm just looking it up to just see if you can do that in Alabama.
And actually,
have-
Doug, like if you know were to show this to anyone, that'd be amazing. And what we can do if you're interested is I'd be happy to get you set up to test the product as both an agent and client to see both experiences. And it only takes about like 10 minutes if you'd like to now or maybe at another time.
Well, we could do that at any point, I suppose.
Yeah, we could set it up right now if that's okay. I'll create a new agent for you. Sound good?
Okay.
Okay. Your last name,
Brown, BROWN.
job title,
What's that?
job title.
Oh, agent. Yeah, I'm on a phone, so I barely can see what's on the screen.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just keep asking you for all the info and we'll see. It might be a little tricky for you to get the email and get set up. But anyways, what's your mobile number that you would like to receive alerts to?
I'll give you one and we can change it later, I suppose.
Yep.
850-637-2647. Actually, I wonder if I could use a Google Voice number and then that, so I've got that where it sends out. Just use that one for now.
Okay.
One
850-637-2647.
7.
Okay. Just repeat that one more time. 850-637-2647. Okay, and the
Yeah.
email address you'd like to use.
DouglasJBrown@gmail.com.
Okay, DouglasJBrown@gmail.com. Okay, so our system is sending you an email right now with that
Okay.
link for you to click on and create a password.
Okay.
Sometimes it ends up in like promotions folder or junk folder.
Looking for the email.
Let's see. Try looking through your different folders. It's probably in your promotions folder.
Nope. I got a Hilton Grand Vacation though.
And then maybe try spam.
I'm
And then, I
looking
mean,
up
there's
here.
there's a search box at the top and you can even type in like VCheck and see where it pulls it from.
You're invited. Here we go. Thank you, Alexa.
Of course.
That Alexa sounds prettier than the one at my house.
Right. I mean, people are always talking about it when they're like, Alexa, do this, do that. I'm like, I'm the original. I came out way before that did. Yeah.
You probably don't take orders as well either, do you?
No, not at all. No, I mean, I can't have one at my house or I have to change the name because if you say my kids, anybody says Alexa or it's like it goes off every 5 seconds. So
But you can change the name to Echo. I use Echo.
I know you can change it to
Yeah.
Echo or you can change it to one other name. And we've done that, but it's like Alexa's cool to be called Alexa. Nobody wants to say like, hey, Echo,
Yeah,
Alexa's
I don't know who
Alexa.
came up with the idea Echo. But
Who
I mean, I
came up
guess
with
it's not a
Alexa?
common name, so it's not like the whole.
Neither is Alexa. Alexa's really not common. I never heard it really before Alexa came out.
Well, you could be like Star Trek and say computer.
That would be great.
I'd be more prone to
I
say
wouldn't
that
say-
for sure.
I'd want to use Captain Picard.
Yeah.
He's the man.
I watched a thing about Spock dying.
Or Worf. Because you have no honor.
I haven't seen that movie apparently. I'm lost.
Oh, it's all Star Trek.
You haven't watched Star Trek.
You're in a tech industry and you haven't watched Star Trek.
Oh, I mean, I have not, but that doesn't say much. I don't watch too much TV. And if I do, it's like children. So I find myself watching cartoons for fun. I'm like, what am I doing? I mean, like,
Been there, did that.
I know. Hey, so I look forward to the day when I can sit down and watch a movie.
About to go on the second round being a grandpa.
Or that. I mean, I heard that's much better than being a parent. You get to hang out with them and give them back. That's what everybody says.
Feed them a bunch of sugar and hand them back.
Yeah, and
to
say,
teach
look, you can put them to sleep, deal with them. I had fun with them.
That's to teach your bratty kids a lesson.
Remember all the hell you put me through?
Yeah, all that crap you gave me. Yeah. I hope you have a kid just like you.
I got some Snickers and I got some Twix. Eat all this before you go home.
That's why parents are always like so mad. I stay mad at my mom. I'm like, no sugar. I pay for the dental bills. Do not feed them sugar, and she still does. So
I got the dashboard.
Okay, yeah, you're in.
Yeah.
Excellent. The one other thing to do is create you as an agent, which I've already started. You're going to be your own primary agent and monitor yourself. And
If I add agents, you don't charge more, right?
nope, no, you can have as many agents in the system as you'd like. No extra charge.
Okay.
Yep. And I kind of recommend just starting off with doing just a scheduled V check, maybe once per day during the weekday. If that sounds good, you can always go back and delete it or deactivate yourself. But how does like a Monday through Friday V check at noon sound?
Oh, checking in myself. You made me a defendant.
Yeah. Right now you are a defendant. Yep. Monitoring yourself.
Okay.
But yeah, work day at noon sound good.
Okay.
Setting that up.
As long as I'm not paying $30 a month for me.
Sure.
You're not. It's free to monitor yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll try to find and see if I can't find a candidate to put on here and try to test it out.
Yep.
We always like word of mouth. So
Okay.
Okay, so now you're going to be getting a SMS with the link to click on that takes you straight to Google Play or the App Store. Do you have an iPhone or Android?
Android. Everything we hear is Android.
Oh, I would love that.
Including the pizza.
So much more.
yeah, he loves that. Everything I do is iPhone.
Yes, so it's very step-by-step and easy on Androids.
You're an iPhone guy, and I'm Android.
Android all the way.
He's Android and I'm iPhone all the way. I just think it's way more difficult, but he says iPhone.
You hit it off all right, Alexa. I've told you two iPhones.
Yeah, I'm just.
I also have an iPhone that I've been wanting to throw away.
Have you been figuring it out, Mark?
Yeah, I just feel like there are so many little things that iPhones take longer to do navigating than the Android.
Maybe, but they have
I'm
so many
taking-
more features. Just saying.
I know. They have a lot of apps, that's for sure. But yeah, so I'm just gonna walk you through the process here, Doug. You're gonna get that SMS, click on the link. You'll download the app. You'll get that 6-digit verification code. Go through that permissions, and then you'll do your first V-check, and you'll want to hold the phone up to your face as still as you can, and it'll take your first V-check. So here comes that text.
I'll probably end up sending this to another phone that I don't want full of apps. Or that I don't mind having full of apps. Are you there?
Yeah, how's it going?
It's spinning. All right, it could be doing this because I'm actually on the phone on Zoom and it's not. It's just spin. I'm not going anywhere. I'll get to it though.
Okay. Well, awesome. We really appreciate your time, you guys. And I'll convert this Zoom recording into a YouTube for you. I'll get that over to you sometime tomorrow. And
Okay.
yeah.
And
All
if
right,
anybody needs a demo, just let us know.
All right. I'll probably email you back and give you a different phone that I want to put the app on.
Sure.
Now I've lost the Zoom. Hold on. There we are. Okay. All right. Well, let me get this on my computer where I can actually see it instead of trying to play on a phone, and then I'll get the app on a phone, and then I'll mess around with the interface. I'm familiar with these types of interfaces, so it's not, I'm not going to get totally lost on it.
Well, if you need anything, you can give us a call or email or whatever, and we're always here.
Okay. Love that green screen you got going.
Yeah, pretty snazzy. Huh?
Oh,
I need one.
it makes me look like I'm like bald though, because it shows like nothing except in this area.
Well, that's just on your end. From here, I'll see your hair.
Well, maybe it's because, I don't know, it's the lighting or something.
It's
That
your.
do me any justice.
It's probably your monitor or the way it's monitoring back to you, but from here,
Well, I'm glad that you can actually see my hair because I can't. I look like I'm just a head in here.
Yeah, you don't look bald.
Gotta love technology.
Yeah, just don't get any green hair.
Well, I would try. I'm not one to color my hair anyways, but no.
Right. Yeah.
Well, it was great talking to you guys.
You too.
And again, we love word of mouth and we will love you for that. So thank you.
We'll see what we can do to pass the word on.
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, I hope you guys have a good day. We look forward to hearing back from you.
Thanks a lot.
Awesome. Bye.
Bye.
Later. Have a good one.
See you, Mark.